Have you ever felt like you're constantly chasing after people who don't appreciate you? Have you ever tried so hard to please others that you forgot your own worth? If your answer is yes, then you might be making one of the biggest mistakes in life: pursuing others while losing yourself. Chasing after someone who does not value you, who doesn't care about you as much as you care about them, is like putting yourself in a cycle of disappointment. You trade your time, energy, and even your self-respect only to receive indifference, or worse, to be taken advantage of. The harder you try to hold on, the more lost you feel, like a boat drifting aimlessly in the ocean, forgetting its destination. Those who chase after others end up losing themselves. On the other hand, people who understand their own worth do not beg for attention or crave validation from others. They know that their value does not depend on how others see them, but on who they truly are. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." Pursuing others does not only exhaust you, it destroys you. It damages your self-esteem, makes you dependent, and most importantly, prevents you from living an authentic life. It's time to stop. Stop seeking validation from others. Stop sacrificing yourself for relationships that don't deserve you. Instead, redirect your attention to yourself. Rediscover who you are and live the life you truly deserve. So how do you break free from this cycle? How do you start the journey of reclaiming yourself? Let's explore together in 5 simple steps to living your best life. Step number 1: get your value written. There is a truth that many people don't want to face. You cannot make someone appreciate you by chasing after them. The more you pursue, the more you become dependent on external validation instead of recognizing your true worth. This is the moment you need to stop, not to look back at others, but to look within yourself. Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, "Who am I without others' approval?" The world always seems to demand that we prove ourselves, to be liked, to be acknowledged. But if you only feel valuable when others approve of you, that is not real value. It is merely a fragile illusion that others can control at any moment. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. Don't wish to be thought to know anything." This quote carries a profound message. To find your true value, you must let go of the need for universal acceptance. You must dare to stand alone, even if it means being misunderstood or underestimated. You must be strong enough not to care about judgment, because your worth does not come from others' words. It comes from within you. Your value does not lie in the number of people chasing after you, nor in whether someone considers you important. Your value lies within yourself, in the qualities, abilities, and character you build. Remember, if you do not respect yourself, you are opening the door for others to disregard you. Let's consider the story of a man named Daniel, a talented employee in his company. He worked hard, but there was one problem. He constantly tried to please his boss and colleagues, even when they did not respect him. He was willing to work overtime without recognition, to agree to unreasonable demands just to be appreciated. But instead of being valued, he was taken advantage of. One day, Daniel decided to change. He started setting standards for how others should treat him. He no longer rushed to accept unreasonable requests, no longer tried to please those who did not appreciate him. And what happened? At first, people were surprised. Some were even upset. But then, something incredible occurred. They began to respect him more. Unreasonable demands decreased, and recognition increased. Not because Daniel changed himself to please others, but because he started respecting himself first. This story reflects an important truth. When you no longer feel the need to prove your worth, you will earn true respect. Not through pleading or chasing after it, but through your dignity and confidence. There is a major misconception in relationships. Many people believe that if they love someone enough, they will be loved in return. But that is not true. Love is not a transaction, and your value does not depend on whether someone chooses you or not. If you want to be loved and respected, start with yourself. Learn to love yourself not in a selfish way, but in a way that understands that you deserve to be treated well. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Instead of trying to convince others that you are valuable, show it through your actions. Treat yourself with compassion, appreciate your achievements, and have confidence in your abilities. When you become the best version of yourself, you will attract the right people, those who value you for who you truly are." One of the most powerful things you can do is to accept yourself, both the aspects you love and the areas you want to improve. Instead of avoiding mistakes, learn from them. Instead of feeling insecure about your flaws, understand that no one is perfect. When you stop striving to be a perfect version of yourself based on someone else's standards, you will find true freedom. You don't need to change yourself to be liked. You don't need to chase after those who fail to see your worth. Remember, don't waste your time chasing people who don't want to be caught. Focus on those who are already by your side. The people who truly care about you won't need you to run after them. They will appreciate you for who you are. And more importantly, you will learn to appreciate yourself. Once you recognize your own value, the next challenge is protecting it. How do you avoid falling back into old patterns, where you are easily manipulated by others simply because you crave approval? That is when you need to set boundaries. Not because you want to distance yourself from the world, but because you need to protect your dignity and energy. Once you do that, everything will change. Those who don't respect you will no longer be able to take advantage of you. Toxic relationships will naturally fall away. And most importantly, you will become the strongest version of yourself. Are you ready for that? Let's move forward. Step number 2, set healthy boundaries. You might hear the word boundaries and imagine invisible walls rising between you and the world. Perhaps you think of distance, rejection, or even isolation. But let's look at boundaries differently. They are not barriers that hold you back, but pathways that lead you to freedom and balance. A healthy relationship cannot exist without boundaries. A strong mind cannot grow without self-preserving rules. And most importantly, a person of value cannot keep chasing others while forgetting themselves. When you stop pursuing people who don't genuinely care about you, you'll realize something profound. You don't have to please everyone to be loved. You don't need to break your own boundaries to gain acceptance. And you don't have to endure disrespect just because you fear losing someone. Setting healthy boundaries is not selfish. It is self-respect. Boundaries are not a way to control others, but a way to protect yourself. They are the rules you set to preserve your happiness, integrity, and self-worth. When you have clear boundaries, you know what is acceptable and what is not. You understand your limits and do not feel guilty for defending them. Imagine someone who is always ready to help, always listens, and always tries to be the perfect version of themselves in the eyes of others. But in the end, they realize that all they receive in return is exploitation, disregard, and even hurt. Why? Because they have no boundaries. They allow others to invade their personal space, dictate their emotions, and control how they live. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Boundaries are the answer to this question. When you set boundaries, you are telling yourself that you deserve better. You are not a doormat for others to step on. You are a person of value who deserves respect. Many people believe that setting boundaries is an act of distance, even selfishness. They fear that if they reject a request, they will be disliked. If they say no, they will lose a relationship. But the truth is that those who genuinely respect you will not leave just because you have boundaries. On the contrary, the people who get angry or uncomfortable when you set boundaries are the ones benefiting from you having none. This is when you need to face the truth. If someone only stays in your life when you constantly compromise and endure, is that really a genuine relationship? Think about Michelle Obama, one of the most influential women in the world. Growing up in a working-class family in Chicago's South Side, she understood prejudice and the limitations that society imposed on black women. From a young age, she faced doubt and dismissive remarks about her abilities. But instead of letting those stereotypes define her, Michelle set clear boundaries. She would not let anyone determine her worth except herself. She once said, "Your story is what you have, what you will always have. It is something to own." Michelle did not chase after external validation or let criticism shake her resolve. She knew that to create change, she first had to protect herself, respect her boundaries, and uphold her values. Because of this, she became an inspiring figure of strength, independence, and self-respect. How to set strong boundaries while maintaining respect. Setting boundaries, the art of respect and assertiveness. Setting boundaries is not about shouting, "I won't accept this," or pushing everyone away. It is an art, a balance between assertiveness and respect. Here are 3 crucial steps. Step 1. Identify your boundaries. Take time to reflect on what truly matters to you. What are you willing to tolerate, and what is completely unacceptable? What makes you feel taken advantage of or disrespected? Step 2. Communicate clearly and calmly. When someone crosses your boundaries, don't let anger take control. Instead, express yourself calmly but firmly. "I'm not comfortable with the way you're speaking to me. I need my personal space, and I hope you can respect that. I can't fulfill this request at the moment. Step 3. Enforce your boundaries consistently. If you set boundaries but don't uphold them, others won't respect them either. Don't say no only to later agree just because you're afraid of disappointing someone. If someone refuses to accept your boundaries, ask yourself, do they truly care about me or just what I provide for them? Setting boundaries isn't just about protecting yourself, it's also about respecting the boundaries of others. Don't expect people to always be available for you. Don't demand that they change to suit you. And don't be upset when they need space. Remember, boundaries are not barriers. They are bridges to building healthy and genuine relationships. True friendship, love, and connection thrive when both sides understand and respect each other's boundaries. Life is not an endless chase for validation. Don't waste your time pursuing people who fail to see your worth. The right people will stay. Those who don't respect you were never truly meant to be in your life. Have you ever set your own boundaries? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Step number 3. Follow your passion. Have you ever wondered why you keep chasing after others? Why do you try so hard to please them, seeking their recognition, only to end up feeling empty? That's because you've forgotten one crucial thing. You weren't born to chase people. You were born to chase yourself. And the most powerful way to do that is by pursuing your passion. Passion isn't just something that excites or interests you for a fleeting moment. Passion is the breath of your soul, the force that keeps you awake every morning, the thing that gives you purpose and meaning in life. When you stop seeking validation from others and start investing your energy into what truly makes you feel alive, you won't just find happiness, you'll find yourself. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Ask yourself, who do you truly want to become? What makes life worth living for you? Then, channel all your resources into making that a reality. Once you start pursuing your passion, a profound shift happens within you. You'll realize that you are no longer bound by the opinions of others. Their recognition no longer matters because you've found a greater source of motivation within, the excitement of exploring, creating, and growing. Passion allows you to live authentically according to your core values, as it reflects who you truly are. David stands in front of a mirror. He has always lived to please others, shaping himself to meet their expectations. He looks into the mirror, but fails to recognize himself. The reflection he sees is distorted, a collage of other people's desires. But then there's the second man, the one who follows his passion, living by the values he believes in. When David looks into the mirror this time, he sees a clear, strong, and authentic version of himself. The second man is free. When you invest in your passion, you attract people who respect your true self. You no longer cling to toxic relationships because those who were drawn to your inauthentic self will naturally drift away. Instead, you begin to connect with like-minded individuals, people who share your interests, your values, and your enthusiasm for life. No more chasing after others. You're fully focused on your own path. Look at the story of Walt Disney. the man who turned childhood dreams into reality and built an immortal entertainment empire. Before becoming a legend, Disney was fired from the Kansas City Star newspaper for lacking imagination and having no creative ideas. When he tried to start his own business, his first animation company, Laugh-O-Gram Studio, went bankrupt due to insufficient funds. His early animated films failed to gain attention, and his first beloved character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, was taken away by Universal Studios, leaving him nearly empty-handed. Perhaps, if Disney had chosen to give up, he would have remained an unknown artist, drowning in debt and failure. But he did not seek recognition from others. Instead of abandoning his passion, he created a new character, Mickey Mouse, and confidently bet on his vision. At first, no one believed that a cartoon mouse could succeed, but Disney did not need their approval. He persisted and refined his work, and when the short film Steamboat Willie was released, the world began to see him in a different light. And the rest is history. This is the crucial lesson. The world will not immediately accept you, but if you stay true to your passion, you will eventually find your place. Those who once looked down on you will have to acknowledge your talent, not because you chased after their validation, but because you steadfastly pursued your own path. Many people hesitate to follow their passion because they fear failure. They worry that if they invest everything into something and it doesn't succeed, they will lose everything. But the truth is, you only truly fail when you abandon yourself to chase things that hold no real meaning. Whether or not you achieve fame, the journey of pursuing your passion makes you a more respectable, insightful, and stronger person. Take the time to discover your passion. It could be a forgotten hobby, a goal you have always longed to achieve, or a dream you never dared to chase. When you start truly investing in what makes you feel alive, you will no longer feel the need to run after anyone. You become free, a creator of value, someone others admire without you having to prove anything. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If you only think about how to be liked by others, you will never attain true happiness. But if you focus on your passion for what gives your life meaning, you will find a deeper sense of fulfillment beyond any external validation. There is no easy road to finding yourself. But once you start, you will realize that everything is not as frightening as it once seemed. When you pursue your passion, you no longer feel lost in this world. You are no longer caught up in the game of seeking recognition or maintaining unworthy relationships. You stand firm, you are confident, and you live authentically. So, what are you waiting for? Put your phone down and stop checking messages from people who don't truly care about you. Use that time to write a page in your book, paint a picture, learn a new skill, or simply take a walk under the sunset and experience the world through your own eyes. You are no longer a follower, you are a leader. And when you truly live with passion, magic happens. Not only do you find yourself, but the right people will naturally come into your life. There is no need to chase anyone. They will find you. Step number 4. Be independent. Society often instills in us the idea that happiness comes from the acceptance of others, and that our worth depends on having someone by our side. But that is a trap. chasing after someone for validation, is a path that leads to insecurity and losing oneself. You cannot control how others treat you, but you can completely control how you perceive and take care of yourself. Independence is the key to breaking free from dependence and rediscovering yourself. Imagine a man standing in the midst of a storm. The rain pours down relentlessly, the wind howls fiercely, and branches snap and crash to the ground. But he does not tremble, nor does he bow his head. He stands firm, like a tree with deep roots in the earth, unshaken by the gales of life. That is independence. That is the inner strength that no one can take away from you. Your thoughts determine your life. If you believe you need someone else to be happy, you will always feel lacking. But if you realize that happiness comes from independence, you will no longer be the one chasing after it, but rather the one creating your own happiness. Many people fear independence because they mistake it for loneliness. But the truth is, independence does not mean cutting off all relationships or rejecting help. Independence is the ability to stand strong even when no one is around, knowing that you are strong enough not to rely on others to survive. Henry Ford was not the first to invent the automobile, but he was the first to make it accessible to every household. At that time, cars were a luxury symbol reserved for the elite. Manufacturers focused only on producing expensive vehicles for the wealthy, and when Ford proposed the idea of mass production to lower costs, he was met with ridicule. Investors and colleagues thought he was crazy. No one wants a cheap car, they said. But Ford wasn't looking for recognition from skeptics. He believed in his vision and persisted in making it a reality. Ford revolutionized the industry with the assembly line, drastically reducing production costs. Within just a few years, the Ford Model T became the most popular vehicle in America. Thanks to his perseverance and self-belief, Ford not only built a great automobile company, but also completely transformed the way the world moves. If he had chased the approval of those who didn't believe in him, the automobile industry might have remained a luxury for a small elite. It was his independence that enabled him to turn the impossible into reality. The same applies to you. You don't need anyone to tell you that you are valuable. You don't need to chase after recognition. Let your worth be defined by what you do, not by attention or acceptance from others. One of the most important aspects of independence is the ability to take control of your own life. When you rely on others for happiness, you are handing them the keys to your life. You let them decide whether you are worthy, whether you matter. But what happens if they leave? What happens if they stop treating you the same way? Will you fall apart? Or will you stand up and keep moving forward? Independence means having the right to make your own decisions, to pursue what you truly want without being influenced by others' opinions or expectations. When you become independent, you gain the most valuable thing in life: freedom. Look at the life of Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty, rejected, and underestimated, she did not seek validation from anyone. She carved her own path, stood on her own 2 feet, and built an empire from her inner strength. If Oprah had chased after approval, she might never have become the icon she is today. The same applies to you. Don't let anyone decide your life. Don't let anyone control your emotions. Don't let anyone hold your happiness in their hands. Everything you need is already within you. Independence is not just about financial or material freedom. It's about controlling your emotions, thoughts, and reactions. People who depend on others for happiness are easily manipulated and easily hurt by rejection. But an independent person understands that they alone are responsible for their life. To achieve independence, start by taking responsibility. Control your emotions. Don't let anyone make you lose your temper or disturb the peace in your mind. Control your finances. Don't let financial dependence take away your freedom of choice. Control your actions. Don't let fear or the expectations of others stop you from pursuing what you truly want. These things may seem difficult, but step by step, you will build a stronger version of yourself. Learn a new skill. Expand your perspective. Get comfortable being alone. Remember, strength is not about how many people surround you, but about standing firm even when you're on your own. You have spent too much time chasing people who don't truly care about you, seeking validation from those who don't appreciate you. It's time to stop. Don't chase those who don't value you. You deserve better than being someone's second choice or backup plan. What's the next step in this journey? It's living fully as yourself. When you stop chasing others, you free up time and energy to focus on yourself and what truly matters. Be ready, because the final step will change your life forever. Step number 5. Be positive. There is one undeniable truth. Those who constantly chase after others, seeking recognition and external validation, often forget their own inner value. They place their happiness in the hands of others, only to be disappointed when they do not receive what they had hoped for. However, this can change, and the key lies in positivity. Positivity is not a fleeting emotion, but a way of life, a philosophy, a strong mindset that helps you stop chasing things beyond your control and start investing in yourself. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring reality. Rather, it means viewing reality from a new perspective, one of strength, growth, and opportunity. Consider someone who has just experienced an emotional shock, perhaps a betrayal by a friend or the end of a relationship. In that moment, it is easy to fall into negativity, to blame oneself or resent others. But if you can pause for a moment and ask yourself, what lesson can I learn from this? Then you have already taken a significant step toward rediscovering yourself. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the essence of positivity in Stoicism. You cannot control what happens to you, but you always have the power to decide how you react. A person with a positive mindset is not someone who is always lucky, but rather someone who knows how to turn any situation into an opportunity for learning and growth. Why do we keep chasing after others? Because we believe that our happiness depends on them. We believe that if someone likes us or acknowledges us, then we have value. But this very mindset traps us in a cycle of disappointment and insecurity. When you practice positive thinking, you will realize that you do not need external validation to feel complete. You will be grateful for what you have instead of suffering over what you lack. You will focus on your intrinsic values rather than trying to please others. And most importantly, you will attract people who truly resonate with you, those who are drawn to the positive energy you radiate. Take the story of Ralph Lauren. He was born into a poor Jewish immigrant family in the Bronx, New York. From a young age, he was fascinated by fashion and the sophisticated style of the elite. Yet his circumstances did not allow him to have the elegant clothes he desired. While his peers pursued stable jobs, Ralph dreamed of a world where fashion was not just clothing, but an expression of personality and class. Instead of blaming fate for being born into poverty, he decided to take action. At first, Ralph worked as a salesman at a clothing store. Noticing that the market lacked uniquely styled ties, he designed his own and persuaded Neiman Marcus to purchase his products. From a single tie line, he expanded his brand and founded Polo Ralph Lauren, turning it into one of the most iconic fashion brands in the world. Ralph Lauren did not let his background define him. He did not sit around lamenting what he didn't have. Instead, he saw an opportunity in his dreams and dared to turn it into reality. Today, Polo Ralph Lauren is not just a brand, it is a symbol of style, elegance, and the American spirit. We may not have an inspiring story like Howard Schultz, but we always have a choice: to see life through a positive lens. When you face failure, you can think that you are not good enough, or you can tell yourself, "I just learned an important lesson." When someone leaves you, you can think that you are not worthy, or you can tell yourself, "They were not the right person for me." When one door closes, you can complain about the unfairness, or you can find a way to open another door. Everything begins with how you perceive the situation. Positivity not only changes your life, but also transforms those around you. When you adopt a positive attitude, you will inspire others by being strong and resilient. Attract better people because your positive energy will act as a magnet for like-minded individuals. Become freer because you are no longer controlled by external negativity. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You cannot change the world around you, but you can change how you see the world. And when you shift your perspective, your life will change as well. If you want to stop chasing others and start rediscovering yourself, begin with positivity. It is the final step, yet also the most important one. See the lesson in every failure instead of just feeling the pain. Be grateful for what you have instead of constantly chasing what you don't. Inspire others instead of getting caught up in their negativity. When you do that, you will no longer feel the need to chase after anyone, because you yourself will have become a light that others seek. So, we've reached the end of today's journey. Never waste your time, energy, or emotions chasing after people. That path only leads to disappointment and heartache. Instead, focus on yourself. When you recognize your own worth, set healthy boundaries, and live an independent life, you won't need to chase anyone. The right people will naturally gravitate toward you, not because you begged for their attention, but because you shine in your own unique way. Remember this: you don't need to chase anyone to be happy. You just need to be yourself. Happiness isn't about having someone in your life. It's about living according to your own values and principles. What do you think about today's topic? Have you ever found yourself chasing after someone only to realize it was a mistake? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to rate this video on a scale of 1 to 10 so we know how much you enjoyed it. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future content. And if you're looking for more insights on Stoicism, click on the next video appearing on your screen. See you in the next one.